Good day, everyone. We are the first group who report the Chapter 1 of Organization Development. By the way, I'm April Marie Nillos of BSBA 4A, the first reporter of this group. So, what's inside of this report? There are specific questions that ask in this report. First is, what do you believe about change? Second, why care about organization development? Third is, what changes are occurring? First question is, what do you believe about change? There are 12 questions here including in this topic. So, let's answer these following questions. First question is, who should be involved in organization change effort and how should they be involved? The answer is, the people who have the relevant information should all be involved in organizational change to maximize the benefits in areas of efficiency and growth. Naturally, the management in all levels should be involved because they have the access to high-level reports that low-ranking employees doesn't have and privilege to. But rank and file and people should also be involved because they have information that management doesn't have or understand. Some examples is intricacies of day-to-day operations, morale, and others. The synergy of information and experiences from all levels in an organization will do wonders. One should not lean more on one side and disregard the others. Both point of views is beneficial to the long-term health of a company. Second question is, who should make decisions about the way in which a change effort of any kind is launched, implemented on a continual basis, or evaluated? Answer is, the top management should take into account all relevant inputs and make the best decision for an organization. But there should a continuous and regular feedback loop from all the employees. Everyone should contribute to the evaluation if the change plan is working or not. An increase in the morale of the majority can do wonders in an organization. Third question is, what do you believe about change in the world generally? Most people focus on politics. When we talk about changes in a larger picture, we tend to look for heroes, like a savior president, to perform a miracle and change the way we live. The reality is that the effort of the many is the one that can accomplish the miracles we are looking for. Education is key, not the formal one that is taught in school, but that of bringing the old values back to popularity again. For example, hard work, honesty, integrity, and others. If the majority of us will invest in ourselves every day, continuously improving and applying old school values, that world will be a better place very soon. Fourth question is, what do you believe about change in today's organizations? My answer is, organizations have changed a lot in our generation compared to few decades back. Most companies exist just to generate cash flows for the shareholders and disregarding every other thing that are important too. Today, for example, companies treat employees just like machineries that can be discarded anytime needed. Hence, people are just called resources. In my opinion, is very derogatory. All employees, even the lowest level, should be treated as partners. First-class citizen in an organization equal to shareholders. Why? Because if everyone in a company is treated with the highest level of respect, they would perform their best to make sure the company will not only survive, but thrive in the years or decades to come. And that will benefit everyone tremendously. That is the biggest thing that must be changed in today's organizations. Fifth question is, what do you believe are the biggest challenges facing decision makers in organization change effort? Answer is, the popularity of investors, leaders, and all types of people to focus on the short term rather than on the long term. What is best for the company is typically compromised because we are all forced to think for the short term. What will make the numbers better in the next few months or for the remainder of the year? What is best for the organization is to think on how to be successful in decades. A true long-term view of the business is always what is best for everyone in the organization. Sixth question is, What do you believe are your own strengths and developmental needs in enacting the role of helper to others in a change effort? What do you do especially well? What do you wish to personally develop to become a more effective change agent? On what basis do you believe as you do? My personal strength is in believing that if I prioritize good communication and work with others, goals can be achieved more efficiently. Seventh question is, when do you believe that a group of people might need a helper in a change effort? Answer is, what people need in order to be successful in change effort is to give them responsibility and ownership. Nothing is more exhilarating and empowering than being given the trust that you can do the job and achieve the goals that was set for. So, the help of person need is just to give them the full trust and support and then leave them alone to accomplish the goals. Eighth question is, where do you believe that the most profound changes are occurring in the world, and why do you think as you do? The biggest are where we can contribute in making profound challenge in the world is in helping the proliferation of education. Education is the key in the following: lifting the status living of the poor by teaching them a man how to fish, improve economy as citizens become more efficient and productive, lower crime rate, improvements in every aspect of society. There are a lot of things we can do to support education, limited only with our own creativity. Ninth question is, why should organizations change and development be a focus for the attention of managers, other groups? Answer is, it is because management does not have all information. Take into consideration. In the case of FedEx, the management have tried a lot of ideas on how to make their process in airports more efficient, but failed. Until an idea came that all employees can go home earlier if they finish their work for the day. What happens next? Almost overnight, the efficiency went through the roof. So much time was saved because the people who are actually doing the work understands how to be more efficient. And since they are incentivized to be efficient, they will be able to nail the right things to change. What the manager should focus is giving the right incentives to the employees and open communication lines to learn more about the operation. 10th question is, how should change be marketed, launched, implemented, evaluated? The answer is, changes should be marketed. The ideas must come from the people who will perform the work to effect the change, and so they will be in the boat and support everything 100% as it came from their own ideas. The launch should be always be yesterday, as efficiency is important in every competitive world we live in. Evaluation of change process should always be evaluated on how much more passionate everyone is performing their part in the organization. 11th question is, how have you reacted in the past change in an organization in which you have been employed or been a consultant with? Think about what you did and how you felt as the change occurred. My friend's answer is, yes, how I reacted as to first evaluate all the good things that will come from the changes to be implemented, and how to seek more information and clarifications from the management to understand why they are making such decisions. Management are made up of highly intelligent and caring people. There are always good reasons for changes they want to implement, no matter how ugly it looks like. 12th question is, what are some common examples of organization change in organizations? Reflect on what they are. Consider such intervention as team building, implementing technological change, succession planning, culture development, aligning, management, enterprise, wide change, mergers and acquisitions, and structural reorganizations. The answer is, the typical change that happens to organizations is when new leader or leaders are brought into the organization. A new department head or manager hired can bring a lot of change from good practices he or she was doing in previous organizations. Mergers can also bring in a new mix of leaders with new ideas of doing things compared to previous management. Different leaders have different beliefs in culture and ways of doing things. All things have pros and cons. But good communication is always the key of bringing the best outcome in every situation. The second question is, why care about organization development? According to the Greek philosopher Heraclitus, there is nothing permanent but change. By that, he meant that everything is always in flux. Nobody can step in the same river twice because the river is always in motion and is therefore always changing. What is new since our last edition is that change has quickened. The last time the world was this troubled was in the middle of the Renaissance, a golden age of creation. But hang on to your hat. We will experience more change the rest of our lives than has been experienced since the beginning of civilizations. We can expect more confusion in our generations than at any other time in history. On the positive side, nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, and the robotic world will bring advances beyond our most bodacious fantasies. Yes, indeed, the pace of magnitude of change has itself changing over the last few decades. Dramatic, mind-boggling, transformational change has been accelerating. One reason is that improvements in communication wrought by technological innovation make otherwise local events global in scope. The field of organization development has a history of over 40 years. OD practitioners have been thinking about an intervening activity to help society make the most of the change age. It is worth asking this question. Why should anyone care about all the organization change occurring? To answer that question, is this worth devoting some time to reflect on what changes are occurring, why changes occurring so fast, and what effects those changes are having? Third question is, what changes are occurring? One study of human resource management practitioners identified 6 key changes that would have the greatest impact in the workplace and workforce over the next 10 years. Rothwell, Prescott, and Taylor 1998. The study began with an analysis of published accounts of workplace trends. Only trends mentioned 3 or more times were included on an initial list. A total of 158 trends were identified in this way. Then, a hand-picked group of HR experts rated the trends for their relative importance on the present and future workplace and workforce. The result was a narrowed-down list of 6 key trends. First is changing technology. Second, increasing globalization. Third, continuing cost containment. Fourth, increasing speed in market change. Fifth, growing importance of knowledge capital. And lastly, increasing rate and magnitude of change. Changing technology refers to rapid advances in human know-how. Increasing globalization refers to the impact of rapid transportation and global communication on doing business. Continuing cost containment refers to efforts undertaken by organizations to address declining profit margins wrought by the ease of price comparisons through web-based technology, by making decided efforts to improve profits by reducing the cost of business operations. Increasing speed in market change refers to the continuing importance of beating competitors to the punch to meet the rapidly changing taste of consumers. The growing importance of knowledge capital refers to the key value-added capabilities of human creativity to identify new businesses, new products, new services, and new markets. And finally, the increasing rate and magnitude change refers to the increasing speed and scope of changes that occur. In short, change itself is changing and posing ever more daunting challenges for business leaders to respond in real time to breaking events. Each trend influences the others. The definition of each trend may vary by organizational context and even by functional area. The trends are related in that many of root causes of others. Trends are consequences of other trends. Each trend requires new competences from leaders to respond to, or even anticipate the changes wrought by each trend. Anderson and Anderson 2001 provide a compatible perspective discussing that so-called drivers of change model. To them, change is wrought by external environmental influences that change the marketplace requirements for success. These marketplace requirements, in turn, lead to new business imperatives that, in due course, lead to organizational imperatives, corporate cultural imperatives, requirements for changes in leader and employee behaviors, and finally in new leader and employee mindsets and beliefs.